Good morning. Welcome back to another episode of HardFoul Radio. This is the show that values time and puts God first. Appreciate y'all for joining me on this Monday morning. Let's get started. So there's been this since Thursday because Denver's been getting ripped left and right because they're an 8-2 football team and nobody likes the way that it looks. And because so many people just stop doing analysis halfway through this season. They just want their takes to be right. So a lot of the big time NFL media people are like, see, look, this team's not winning in a way that I like or a way that I think is sustainable or a way that I think looks pretty. They're not that good because that coincides with the opinion that I had before the season. And so, boom, here we go. I am vindicated in the way that I feel. You think Buffalo yesterday would have taken just the points, or do they need the style? Because Buffalo lost to Miami and got their teeth kicked in. But Buffalo, the style in which they win, it looks nice. It's a way that we all say, oh, yeah, this is one of the best teams in the NFL. Well, they lost. Versus Denver on Thursday, it was ugly as hell. They got the win. They're not going to feel bad. Yesterday, Indianapolis in Germany, ugly as hell against a Falcons team that they're clearly better than. Looked ugly as hell, still got the win. The Patriots looked ugly in the beginning against Tampa Bay, still got the win. Style points do not matter in the NFL, especially the middle of the NFL season. If you are able to stack up wins, you stack up wins. That is always going to be the correct thing to do. It's always going to be the better thing to do. Just because it looks, look at the Jaguars yesterday. It looked pretty, and then it didn't. And they blow a huge lead to a Houston team that is without their starting quarterback. And look, isn't it funny to go back to Denver? That defense that supposedly can't do anything, Davis Mills, he's just a backup, doesn't look good. Then he gets a defense that was leading the NFL in turnovers the first part of the season. He lights them up for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. Don't worry about the way that you win. Because here's what a lot of NFL media people are saying, and they don't want to. This is the opinion that they have right now. And yes, I'm going to go a little more into this tomorrow when I get to Team Tuesday. They want you to win, and they want you to win a certain way because that's going to justify their opinions or their takes. Take last night, Sunday Night Football, for example. The Chargers, give them their credit. That was not the prettiest game. That was not the game they're going to look back on and go, oh, this is the best Justin Herbert's ever looked. Oh, this is the best the offense has ever looked. Oh, this is the best. It wasn't. This was a gritty win. It looked ugly the whole first half. It was 3-2, which is the 2 minutes to go into halftime. And their offensive line is a mess. PFF, for all people that hate PFF graded 4 of their 5 offensive linemen were either last or second to last of their position. And Justin Herbert gutted it out, still getting hit, still getting pressured, just figured out a way to get it done. Because that's what actually matters at this point of the NFL season. Figure out how to get it done. We don't care how it looks like. Stop worrying about style points. And, I get into this because the Chiefs last year, and I think the Chiefs are different, but the Chiefs last year it was such an ugly way to win games. If you took out the penalties, I don't think people would have been as critical about the Chiefs. And that's where a lot of this stems from. Yes, I think there was a lot of weirdly timed flags last year that helped the Chiefs out in these really odd situations. And that is what drove a lot of this is not a team that is ready to go win 3 straight games. Not everybody's going to look like the 07 Patriots. You can't look like Kansas City last year because, again, I think the flags were a big part of that. It wasn't just the level of play or the way they played. You're not going to look like the 07 Patriots. You're not going to look like the 2013 Broncos. You're not going to look like the 1999 Vikings, which is very pretty high-flying offense week in, week out. The reality is, who cares how you get the win? Like, Bears fans, are you upset that your defense is clearly regressing? No, because you're seeing more flashes from Caleb, and he is now stacking wins. Drake May in New England. Do you care he's thrown an interception 3 straight games? No, because you're stacking wins. Rams, did you care that first half, or that's end of the first half, early second half, that the Niners look like even injured on a backup quarterback, that backup quarterback being Mac Jones, still out multiple key players that look like, oh, they could compete with you? No, because you got the win. Seattle looked dominant yesterday. And Seattle's looked dominant several times this season. And people still don't want to give Seattle their credit because we just don't pay enough attention to Seattle, apparently. But they're the only team that really walked away with big-time style points. And I guarantee they're still not going to end up on nobody's number one overall power ranking, nor are they going to end up on that number one on theoretical, could they win the Super Bowl list. Don't worry about style points. Get your wins. Baltimore got a win yesterday. Did it look pretty? No. But they got a win. They are now a game within the Steelers. As horrible as their season started, they got a win right before. So don't trip on style points. Style points are meaningless. Going again back to we all know, and the NFL has probably never been a better example of where you get drafted, who you play for, your situation, your surroundings. It matters so much. And we got the all-time stat to prove it. So Matthew Stafford is now 500 as a starting quarterback. He is 115, 1. It is the latest ever into a career a quarterback has gotten to 500. Think about that. Matthew Stafford, maybe the greatest arm talent, definitely top 5 I've ever seen. A Super Bowl champion, has over 50,000 career passing yards. He hit 400 touchdowns yesterday. Is responsible for 2 of the greatest receiving seasons ever. Would have been responsible for a third if Puka didn't get hurt. In my opinion, undisputed top 5 quarterback. Obviously, top 5 of Joe Burrow's not healthy. A guy who is, if he is the MVP frontrunner, in my opinion, and if he gets his MVP or a second Super Bowl trophy, he's going into the Hall of Fame. And he just hit 500. The Sam Darnolds of the world, Geno Smith, like, your situation matters so much. Baker Mayfield. Not everybody can go to Cleveland and win. In fact, most people can't. And then sustain winning. Most people can't. The Jets. I don't think Justin Fields is this terrible, but I think the Jets are. And that's why I think Sam Darnold doesn't work. Justin Fields doesn't work. Zach Wilson, maybe, if this season had gone wrong and the Dolphins had to get rid of Tua, Zach Wilson might actually look decent. Was he going to look decent in New York? No. Because your situation, the people you're surrounded by, your management, your peers, the coaches, the athletic training staff, all this stuff matters, because the reality is, and it's a quote that I have continued to steal ever since day one of this show, go back 8 years, the great Chris Carter, 99% of guys are system players. He said himself included, and he's in the Hall of Fame. Matthew Stafford finally getting to 500 is not a representation of how great Matthew Stafford is, or how maybe not great Matthew Stafford is. It's a representation of just how pathetic and futile those Detroit Lion teams were for years on end. Even though they had Matthew Stafford, even though they had Calvin Johnson, even though they had a handful of running backs, even though they had a handful of great defensive players and Ndamukong Suh, like, it was just nobody was going to work in Detroit. Dan Campbell gets there, resets the culture, brings in better coaches, brings in better players, and finally Detroit has a pulse to where they are now a legitimate team. That time Stafford was there, not even close, because Matt Patricia was not the guy. Name his head coach that he had. They were not the guy. The environment of Detroit was just not sustainable for a winning culture. Never has a stat proven It depends where your situation matters so much. Again, take anybody in the NFL. Take my guy, who everybody hates right now. Everyone's going to throw rocks at until this Kansas City game. Bo Nix, 1,000% his situation matters. He's playing with a great defense. He's playing with a great head coach. He's playing with a great offensive line. That matters. That means that's a better situation than most guys get to start their career. But why do we have hope for J.J. McCarthy? It's because he's got Justin Jefferson. He has Jordan Addison. He's got a great left tackle. He's got a great offensive coach. Drake May now has, year one, didn't look so great. Year two, he gets Mike Vrabel. He gets Josh McDaniels. They have better players. Your situation matters. So Stafford finally hitting 500, the ultimate. Your situation matters. Detroit, dysfunction, can't win. You get him to Los Angeles. He's won a Super Bowl, has a chance to win an MVP. He's got over 50,000 yards. He's got the 400 touchdowns. The arm talent has always been there. It's just incredible, man. Your situation matters. In life, in football, situation matters. I mean, if you want to be a part of one of the coolest, most unique communities, don't forget to like and subscribe.